Hi, welcome back to Burning River Bushcraft. Today we're going to be doing a review on one of my favorite firearms of all time, the Steyr Scout Rifle. So if I have absolutely one firearm that I grab if something absolutely has to die, it is going to be my Steyr Scout Rifle. The Scout Rifle is a concept by Colonel Jeff Cooper. It's a general purpose firearm, and this fits this bill to a T. So I have another review on my channel of my Lever Scout. It's the same concept. I went over the Scout Rifle concept in that video, and that is a cheaper version of the Scout Rifle. Doesn't quite meet all the parameters, but this is the high water mark of rifle technology. So I've had this rifle, I would guess 15 years, maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe 16 years, 17 years, not exactly sure. This is the tactical Scout model. This is the one that was on sale when I was going to buy one. The original Scout has a gray stock. This is a black stock, and the bolt knob's different. Other than that, it's identical. Some of the features that makes this the Scout Rifle is the set length and set weight by Jeff Cooper. It's great to have a rifle that's super accurate, but if it's too long to carry with you, that limits its use. And a rifle that's too heavy, you're just not going to want to carry with you. So because it's a short, lightweight, handy rifle, makes it great to have with you, and is a general purpose rifle. So key point of that is it's got to be in a general purpose caliber. This is in a 308. This does have a secondary magazine. A couple key features about this I'll show you. Secondary magazine is located in the buttstock. Awesome feature to have. I can always have a reload with me when I pick this rifle up without having to grab an extra bag or anything else on the side. Unique to this rifle, this has two push buttons on either side to release the magazine. So what that's going to do is not accidentally pop your magazine out and lose it in the field. So I have to purposefully grab and pinch and pull this out. Now I've used this with gloves and mittens late season all the time. This is my go-to rifle. I've never had an issue with it. When the magazine is in place, it's smooth on the bottom, nothing to grab your hand. So I can move my hand up and down the stock to get a good grip. The magazine catches, never have caught my hand or glove at all. Another unique feature with the magazine is it's a double detent magazine. So I've got it out, I can push it in, and I can also drop it down, and it sits, you know, just maybe an 1/8 inch below. And what that does is when I cycle the bolt, I miss the magazine. That's useful for quite a few features. Colonel Cooper's original idea with it, and there has been militaries that have carried this rifle. If I was in a sniping situation or a situation where I could keep people pinned down, single fire shot, I would drop my magazine like this and then slow fire, single feed the rounds. Then in push comes a shove, I need a full capacity rifle. All I do is push the magazine in, it engages, and now I feed through the magazine. So I can fire 1 shot, 2 shots, 10 shots, and never deplete the magazine that's in the rifle. So now that single load feature would not be of any use without the Scout Scope. This is the shining feature of any Scout rifle or any pseudo Scout or fake Scout or version of a Scout rifle, is the forward or intermediate mount scope. Now this is not a pistol scope. Pistol scopes have a longer eye relief. The intermediate eye relief is maybe 10-12 inches. A pistol, you're going to be extending your arm full length, so obviously it has a longer eye relief. So by having a intermediate eye relief, my ejection port is completely open to me. So if I had a malfunction, if I single load, if I come up to going into a tree stand, crossing a barbed wire fence, anything like that, I can pop the magazine out once, take the shell out of the chamber, close it, cross safely, get to the other side, need to shoot right away, I can close the magazine and rack it again. So the fact that I have access to my ejection port is a critical feature with the Scout. Also, the point of balance. A lot of things is missed with rifles when you just start looking at them and punching them through, making checklists of things you want. The balance point is kind of critical. Now this is fully loaded. The chamber is empty, so this is condition 3. but I do have a loaded magazine in the buttstock, loaded magazine in the magazine well, and the balance point is right at the break point of the ejection port. So for casual carry, I don't have this big this big scope in my way, so it's got a great balance point. So with that intermediate eye relief scope, you need low power. So critical feature with this is when I look up and I'm looking through the scope, I can see immediately left or right of the scope itself. So I can actually see game walking into my scope, then walking out. The lever scout video, I did a couple shots through the camera. I kind of panned through a little bit to show it. It does a better job of hopefully passing that information along. It's kind of hard to visualize until you shoulder one of these, and it's really hard to get the point until you use one in the woods in field situations. Now, one of Colonel Cooper's criteria for the scout rifle was backup sights, and this does have a backup peep sight that folds completely flat. I have used it, I have sighted it in when I got it. I've never had issues with the scope, so I've never needed it. The front sight is actually covered by the scope, so I would have to take the scope off to use this. That would be a bad situation, but it's something that the rifle accounted for in the design of it. So in order to make weight, to make this a proper scout rifle, I have a synthetic stock, and I also have a thin barrel. This is a pencil thin barrel, and it is fluted. The flutes actually add rigidity to the barrel. It lets it cool down quicker, which would never be a situation that's needed for hunting. But the rigidity, and it also is added, and it also lightens the barrel itself. So the exposed portion of the barrel is pencil thin. It is fluted. This is one component of the rifle that I always worried about bending. It is so small and so skinny compared to other rifles. I never grab it by the barrel. I'm very cautious with it. That just comes with the fact that you have such a lightweight rifle, you do have to make sacrifices with it. So I could mount a traditional scope in a traditional location on this rifle. I do have rails along the top. It's not crazy like AR-15 rails or nothing, but it's enough to get the job done. I was so excited when I got to go to the SHOT Show, to go to the Steyr booth and to see all the Steyr stuff that they would have. And they had one scout rifle, and it had a standard position scope in it. When you start screwing with this thing and putting a non-scout scope on it, now it's just a lightweight rifle. Colonel Cooper was the main proponent of the scout rifle. Now that he's passed away, I'm just afraid that this is just going to drift off into history without really being noticed to its full potential. So the synthetic stock on this is pretty sturdy, actually. It's got some real cool features in it that, again, you don't really realize until you start to handle the rifle and feel the rifle. It's got a parallel comb. So this is the comb of the stock. Parallel comb meaning it doesn't have that raised Monte Carlo style cheek piece. There are spacers in the back, and I took all the spacers out right away because I'm always shooting this thing late season, winter more than anything else for deer. So key thing of it is, if I've got, you know, a bulky sweater, anorak, or a t-shirt in the summer, no matter where this rifle sits on me, my head is going to be placed at the same height. So this is a great feature. I wish more rifles would utilize a parallel comb, but this one definitely does. Moving up to the pistol grip, I have a nice palm swell on both sides with, you can kind of see it in camera here, there's a small indentation for your hand. This is where the heel of your palm sits, and it does work right or left-handed, and I have shot deer left-handed with this rifle. If you're set up in a certain location, especially a tree stand or something, and you've got deer coming in behind you, rather than shifting my body around to shoot right-handed, it's easier for me just to switch the rifle around and shoot left-handed. So I do like the fact that this is an ambidextrous palm swell with an inlet for the heel in it. So while we're talking about the stock, this is one of the badass gee-whiz features. There's a small push button here on the bottom. So I'm going to push that in, and I'm going to pop out a integral bipod. I use this primarily to keep the rifle off the ground. I've never shot game off of this. It's just not something I get to do a lot of in the eastern woodlands. I primarily hunt with this, Kentucky, Pennsylvania. This is not a legal caliber for Ohio. So in those situations, most of the times if I'm setting up ahead of time, I'll utilize shooting sticks or I'll use my sling to get into a better position. But it is nice to have a bipod available to you if you need it. So the rifle has a 3-position thumb switch in the center. Love that feature because this is such a short, handy rifle. A lot of times it almost handles like a shotgun. So you can just swing it up, shoulder it, pop it, and continue firing. Great feature for this, especially in the brushy type woodlands that I hunt a lot. Like I said, it is a 3-position, so forwards fire. The middle position is just the safe. And the rear position, it has a small tab. Now what that tab does is you have to actually push the tab in to roll it forward. Love the feature actually. I didn't think I'd use it that much, but I use it constantly just when I'm carrying the rifle in and out. What that also does is it lets me push down on the bolt handle and it actually locks the firing pin into place. You can see that little bit of difference. So now if I were to drop this off a cliff or something crazy happens, the firing pin itself is not able to move past the spring and fire the rifle. What I like about this is there's no inadvertently pushing the safety off. So I absolutely have to consciously push down on this lever to take my safety off. It does make a little bit of noise. To compensate for that, I always just kind of ease it off slow. Usually once I'm in a stand or set up, I'm using my middle position safety at that point. So the trigger on this rifle came pretty good. It was like a 3.5-pound trigger maybe. It was a normal, good trigger. Smooth surface to it. But with the provided screws, I was able to, I believe it was an Allen wrench I got in here, and I got this trigger down to 1.75 pounds. So you think about this gun going off and it goes off. Zero creep, zero travel. You would think in a hunting situation, you know, cold hands, like right now I think it's like 20 or something like that, you wouldn't want such a light trigger. Finger is off the trigger until you're ready to fire. When you make contact with this thing, it's going to go off. Definitely aids in accurate shooting. So also kind of hidden in the rifle itself, there's a small latch right here. You access that through the port with the magazine, the extra magazine out. It's just a small cavity in there. I usually keep a pull-through cleaning rod, a bore snake, and then a Torx head wrench to take my scope rings off if I get into trouble. Not a feature that you use very often, but if you need it pretty bad. So why not incorporate it into the rifle? So this is the Ching sling. This is a feature that I cannot believe has not been adapted to more rifles. It makes this rifle more shootable. It is absolutely perfect in the field, and it really doesn't deter any of the standard sling uses. This was named after Ching, I believe. He was an old gun sight instructor for Colonel Cooper. They were trying to incorporate ways to sling up military style because it aids in shooting so much. So the use of a sling in supported positions is known for years. Any competition shoot, you're going to be using a sling in most supported positions. The issue is usually the rear sling swivel comes off and you'll wrap it around your arm and you'll get into position. What that Ching sling lets you do is use your sling for normal carry, so you can do African or American carry, but then with this intermediate strap right here, it lets you get up and sling into position very quickly and easily. So this is something I have adjusted to myself. I've actually lost the screw that holds this in. I've got just a piece of bank line on it right now. I have shot countless deer like this. If I'm not shooting off a tree rest or something like that, I'm going to sling up and get to a better position if possible. So I'm going to insert my arm through. This is laying flat against the back of my hand. This forward part of the sling acts as a sling stop, a hand stop for me. And if I can just place this into my shoulder, it's probably too loose. So you actually have to place the butt right into your shoulder pocket, and then everything locks into place. So if I am sitting, kneeling, or prone, I am always using my sling, unless I have artificial support, a shooting stick or shooting off my bag or something like that. The only way I'm slinging this thing up and shooting it is if I'm snap shooting at deer in heavy brush and just don't have any options. So this rifle does have some negatives. First off, it's a pricey thing. This is not an inexpensive rifle at all. Secondly is going to be parts. Because this rifle's from Austria, there's not a lot out there. They are imported fairly often. Some of the parts are interchangeable with their other rifles, but for certain things that are Steyr Scout only, it's not going to be that easy to find a part in an emergency. Also, because this is a short barrel, it's kind of a loud rifle. They're all loud. They're loud enough to all damage your ears, so it's kind of a subjective thing, but there's quite a bit of blast from this 19-inch barrel. And probably the last disadvantage is going to be recoil. This rifle, because it is so lightweight and it is chambered in 308, 308 is a very great round that you can adapt to go up or down depending on game. But your general run-of-the-mill 308s don't kick that hard in other rifles, but it is very noticeable in a lightweight rifle like the Steyr Scout. I'm going to crack a round off here. You'll get to see the blast and maybe notice a little bit of the recoil. So here's another look at this Ching sling. This is barrel up, right shoulder. So this is like an American carry. So to implement that, pretty quick, pretty easy. African style. So muzzle down, left hand side. You know, either way, quick to carry. The Scout rifle has a lot of advantages to it. It is worth definitely checking one out. And if you're going to go ahead and get one, get the original. All right, so this has been my long-term review of the Steyr Scout rifle. I'm sure there's tabletop reviews where they can measure everything and weigh everything and give you all that kind of stuff. This is legit field experience and my impressions long-term with this rifle. Like I said, it's been maybe 15, 17 years, something like that I've had it. It has been an absolute joy to use. So this is not a rifle that you're going to pick up in the gun store and shoulder a couple times and really like it. It's not a range rifle. There's rifles that probably cost a quarter of this that can shoot better groups at 100 yards or 200 yards or 300 yards just with a more magnification in the scope and off a bipod or off a rest. That's not what this rifle's about. This rifle is for the woods. It's for hunting. It's for field use. And in my opinion, it is the best rifle ever made for that. Until next time, this has been Jamie Boggs for Burning River Bushcraft. See you soon.